All right, man. Let's talk about what the Pistons need to do in order to succeed. Okay, who needs to go? Who needs to stay? Who needs to be out of here? Okay, let's talk about it. But I think the number one priority is to make sure Cade Cunningham succeed outside of winning. He's comfortable. Okay, they need to really. Dane Bing said he's not the one you build around, and that's not the only person I heard say that. Okay, but for right now, he's the guy. Okay, he's the guy that we need to make feel comfortable. And when you look at Cade Cunningham, you say, what's his skill set? I think his skill set is being an all-around good player. That's his skill set, being an all-around good player, having good, having the potential to be a great defender, and somebody that people don't talk about that he probably remind you of is probably a guy like Joe Johnson. Okay, people say Paul Pierce, and I understand that. And I understand that comparison. But Joe Johnson, especially when he was at his peak, he was known for somebody that can fill the bucket up, who can defend. You know what I'm saying? Who can do everything. Now, people look at it and be like, oh, that must be a slap in the face. Well, it's not a slap in the face. Joe Johnson was a really good basketball player. And the thing with Joe Johnson, too, he never got too high, never got too low. And guess who that reminds you of? It reminds you of Cade Cunningham. He never get too high, he never get too low. Okay, that's who that remind you of. And then guess what? They both known for hitting big shots. A little bit premature for Cade Cunningham, but I do think Cade Cunningham kind of has the potential to be a better facilitator. Okay, and right now they need to figure out, who your building blocks, and your building blocks can always change. Your building blocks can always change. So they come in, they get somebody next year. They say, well, we need to build around him or build with him and Cade Cunningham. That can happen. But when you look, and when you look at it right now, he's the priority. Outside of winning, he's the priority. And I'm gonna keep saying this, Killian Hayes is hurting him. They gotta figure out what they want to do. If he want to be a catch and shoot guy, yesterday, Charlotte, he was a little bit more aggressive. He was a little bit more aggressive versus Charlotte Hornets. He was going to the rim, this, that, and the third, and it's gonna take some time before he put it all together. It's gonna take some time. He had 8 points, 4 assists, but he was a little bit more aggressive. And you look at Charlotte, and that's pretty much what the Pistons should be. And they should be a team that should be fun to watch. But the biggest difference is LaMelo Ball is a true point guard. Cade Cunningham, what is he? All around good, can defend, probably get better, probably be a good all defender. Should be able to post later on. Maybe can post now, catch and shoot, score. Can blow by you, can get a bucket. I mean, but they don't have that facilitator. And that's the issue. And Luka Doncic wasn't known as a facilitator when he came into the league. If he was, he probably would have won #1 overall. He was known as crafty. We said from the beginning they should spread the floor out and let Cade walk the top with the pick and roll. And it should be his world, but instead they complicate things like historically the Pistons have. The number 2 pick, they complicated with Darko Milicic. When it should have been easily Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul. Even Chris Kaman would have been an upgrade. I think he came out that year. I could be wrong. He's a local guy too. All right, they complicate things, man. They make things be simple, and they just want to complicate it and be the smartest guy in the room. Same thing for the Detroit Lions. It's simple. I know y'all like Killian. He's a nice person. Whoop-de blam, blase blue. But this dude, Cade Cunningham, should have the ball and y'all spread the floor out. Him and Bay. And I said this yesterday. But when you look at the roster of players that they have on this roster, when you look at this roster of players, one thing you notice is like a dude. a guy. You know, you got that one friend that got a type. Could be short, big booty. Could be skinny, big breast. Could be skinny with a big booty. Could just be skinny. Could be proportion. Could be top heavy. Could be lower heavy. Could be light skin. Can be caramel. Just one of your homeboys just got a type. You know, and Trey Weaver definitely got a type. You know, he loved those threes. You know, you look at the roster and what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18, 19, 20, 21. Because, you know, COVID and everything going. But he definitely got a type. And what we can say, the best player is not playing. The best talented players are not playing. If that was the case, Saban Lee would be playing Killian Hayes minutes. Diallo would be in the rotation. You know what I'm saying? Jackson would be stop falling in and out of the rotation. All right. When you look at me, I don't like Frank Jackson. I don't see it. I don't like Corey Joseph. Never have, never will. I don't see it. So I instantly say them two dudes need to be out the lineup. All right. So you looking at, you know, other guys. Well, Livers is gonna be he gonna be rehabbing and getting back. So he basically redshirting this league. I don't even know if he's playing or not, but I think he redshirting this year. Okay, so when you look at it, right, you say, okay, we put Garza in the deep freezer too. Let him develop behind the scenes. What we learned about Isaiah Stewart is that he ain't a 4 in this league. He ain't a 5. He's just a basketball player who can come off the bench and help you. So he ain't a starter in this league neither. He's a rotational player. He's a bench player. Bam. We know Jeremy Grant gonna be in his way out. Bam. So then we look at these other guys on top. We know he's the guy right now, or he's gonna be one of the guys if we know it. Bay, he been a dude, been up and down since Grant went out. He done shook free, then shook loose. You know, he playing well. But guess what? I think he went from being a non-tradable asset, which we talked about a little bit on the last football stream, a little bit at the end. Most people say, hey, if it's for the right trade, you can get rid of him, right? Look at him. He's another dude that's going to be in the deep freezer who just needs time to develop, right? So then you eliminate these three because, you know, I said, why? You eliminate him because he's going to develop. Then this guy, like I said, the best available talent hasn't been playing just because he can't shoot threes. And that's Dwayne Casey's philosophy. He been on the bench. But one thing we know about him, like I said, he remind me of baby Corliss Williamson. Undersized 4. You know, Williamson was like a 4, but he was 6'7". But he was undersized 4'3". He's a slasher, but you know what? When you run an offense, when everybody sits at the 3-point line and nobody gets to the rim and nobody cut, he falls out the rotation. But he should be a rotational player. You know, just because his height don't say 6'9", don't mean he can't play that tall. So he should be in the rotation. Even long term, you look at this bottom, I don't know what's going on with Josh Jackson. Don't know. But he's the guy that's probably going to be moved because you got so many threes. Look at my threes. 1, 2, 3. And some of these guys are tweeners. You know, the 4s you got. You know what I'm saying? Stewart, we got to wait. Olynyk, we waiting on. He can be part of it. Frank Jackson never liked him. Trey Lyles, more of a 4. You need that veteran presence. Corey Joseph never liked him. Cassius Stanley, he flashing some potential. Then you look down here, Saban Lee. He's the guy that should be having Killian Hayes minutes. He should be having Killian Hayes minutes, man. And he ain't playing because of draft positioning. Once again, that's a sign of a dumbass organization. Excuse my language. You playing people over draft pick. He clearly better than Killian Hayes. It don't take hard. It ain't hard to tell. That's why he could be sent to the G League and he could blow it off the doors. If I was Lee, I'd probably be asked to trade it, bro, because I could play in this league. And on this team, I should be starting. And I can facilitate. I'm getting better. So Derek Walton Jr., he was on Woodward Sports. We know what's up. Magruder veteran. DeMarco Pickett, one of them dudes that's in the freezer. Don't know much about these guys right here. Savitas, he ain't sticking. So really, when you look at it, Lee, Olynyk, Lyles, Diallo, Bay, Cade, Stewart. That's 7 players right there. 7 players that should be rotational right now. 7 players would be rotational. Now, guards in the deep freezer. Killian should be in the deep freezer. I think Jackson will be on the move. Like I said, I don't like Frank Jackson. You know, Josh Jackson should be on the move. Corey Joseph, You know, Saban Lee, those should be the guys that's playing. But we're not playing the best player. We playing the guy that was drafted the highest. But to help him win, those are the guys should be running for. And the rest of these dudes should be moved and probably are going to be moved. You know, and the question is, should you hurry up and get a known commodity right now? You know, but the biggest need for this team right now is a facilitator. You know, but you're counting on him to be that guy, and he ain't. Say what you want to say about about Rajon Rondo. He still was an aggressive, even though he couldn't shoot. And he ain't the guy right now that you can count on to be a facilitator. You know, and the question is, can you find him? Around the league, who do they got that can break somebody down and facilitate? Because the last thing you need is just another scorer without a facilitator. You know, so you look around the NBA, where can you find a Chris Paul type of point guard at? You know, and really, and if you do find those guys, they're more than likely going to be veteran players. So you look, you say, man, who is the guy that's gonna make everybody pump and go? I mean, it's a handful of guys. You probably say Ricky Rubio, who just hurt himself. And out here, who do you say is the guy? You got Chris Paul, Draymond Green. You know, who is the guy you say? John Morant. You know, Luka Doncic is playing that role. Who was the guy you say gonna come down and set up our offense? Come on, it's limited. That's a limited position right now. Tyrese Haliburton is one of those guys. But other than that, it ain't too many of these guys who are going to come down and set your offense up and play the point. You know, you say, well, we take a flyer on John Wall. Well, that's a huge risk. We take a flyer on Colin Sexton. Even you gotta, if you're gonna have that guy, you gotta develop him. And you already developing Killian Hayes. So that is the question. That's the question. Where do you find a facilitator at? Because right now, the biggest problem with this team is the head coach. All right. And then you don't have a facilitator. Then you talk about not having a rim defender. So where do you find a facilitator at? You know, when you look in the draft, will you prioritize a facilitator in the draft? I don't know. Is there somebody in college basketball who can be that guy? And you look, all I see is big fellas. So right now, how it's looking, I ain't seen a point guard yet on this list. How it's looking, man, you still need a facilitator. Somebody that get everybody in position to rock and roll. So, like I said before, man, you look at the Charlotte game, and it's a lot of the same thing with the Pistons. A lot of the guys that play the same position, but you know what? LaMelo Ball is a facilitator. Then he can play off the ball. They don't play no defense. That's evident. But figure something out. Too many of the same players, and too many of the same players. We'll see. But when you're talking about guys, bring guys like Cam Reddish in, don't mind it. But then again, who gonna sit there and stabilize the offense? You say, well, do you need a facilitator? If you don't have a facilitator, then you have a offense that has a lot of motion, a lot of cuts, a lot of backdoor cuts, a lot of curls. You know what I'm saying? And it got to be ball movement, like what Steve Kerr and Craig Popovich coach. You know, so hey, it is what it is. Let me know what you girls and guys think. Check Detroit Piston Talk playlist out for more videos like this. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, all the links in the description. You want to financially donate, it's Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313. That's rolling at the bottom of the screen and in the description with the PayPal link that's in the description. That's with the donate, comment, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That's with the donate, thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe, buzz the bell icon button, hit all notifications, Christians get notifications. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. All right, I want you guys to go support Piston Mike. Y'all go to the subscribe button. He at 480 right now. Let's get him to 1,000, 100,000, 500,000, million subscribers as soon as possible, bid. Let's help him put it down. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. If you like the Pistons, you want to support me, think about sending me a donation. Best way you can help me right now is go subscribe over to Piston Mike and go help him get his numbers up, putting in work, hard work, smart work, dedicated work, consistent work. So make sure you go over there and appreciate that work. So remember, the name is Piston Mike, and I have a link in the description. If you have a problem finding it on YouTube, it'll be under source link or Piston Mike channel link in the description. Peace.